Welcome back, Luke, to the third session. Again, I hope you've had a good week of presenting and other activities at work. Just to recap on what we discussed in the last session, you said you had an upcoming presentation on Friday where you was giving an update on the WGIG to senior managers. And we also discussed gathering some feedback from your line manager who was an XDA, as you thought that would be a very good port of call within your network to gather some really useful feedback. So just start with how did those two presentations go?
The presentation so regional managers went well. Again, sort of went through the information beforehand, make sure I was comfortable with what I was saying, and then got some feedback from my line manager, or the former DA, was really positive. Said that I sort of controlled the pace of what I was saying very well. He said that maybe in future I could sort of get to the point a bit quicker, rather than sort of don't need to give all the backstory. Very much sort of quick, short, sharp update. But apart from that, he said it was pretty good.
Amazing, really good to hear. Update. So, what size of groups have you been presenting to at the moment, Luke? Is it been large groups, or has it been one or two people, maybe 3 or 4 people, slightly smaller groups? Who have you been presenting to?
It's mainly been smaller groups. I mean, that one I did, sort of regional managers, there's only 2 of them, so quite a small group with my team. So there's sort of 6 on the call, so relatively small groups.
Amazing. So how have you been feeling sort of now on a scale of 1 to 10 and presenting to these smaller target groups?
Yeah, I mean, a lot more positive. I think probably moving up towards that sort of 7, 8 on the scale, where it's becoming quite more comfortable to do it. And that piece around having that preparation, which we discussed earlier on before, has been really valuable.
So we feel that the preparation piece has been the biggest win in terms of finding that next step of confidence when you're stepping out in front of people.
Yeah, I think, like you say, it's that piece of just for me the biggest thing it always has been when presenting is that sort of fear of when they're more seniors, that they sort of dismiss you and that you're not really worthy of their time type thing, and try and get that validation. I think once you've done that a couple of times and you've had that validation from a couple of people, that really sort of helps that confidence piece.
Yeah, totally agree. When you've been practicing, have you been practicing just sort of by yourself, going through the information, or have you been presenting it to other people in preparation for the main meeting?
Just been going over it myself, sort of information. Never really sort of had that practice with other people.
Amazing. Well, that's fine. If that's what works for you, that's what this is all about, is finding steps that we can put in place and things that work for you to make you feel that more confident when you're stepping up in front of groups. So you've already mentioned and touched on that you feel you made progress on the pace of your presentations. You got some feedback from your line manager, and the feedback now was sort of catering towards getting to the point, not going around the story too much, is just trying to get directly to the point. As this is obviously somewhere we identified in the first session. I think for the next step is to now present to these larger groups. So we've made steps and we've put pieces in place to benefit your confidence in small groups. So I think the next step for the final session will be trying to find an opportunity to present to a group, maybe 10 and over people. So maybe 10, 15 people. Is that something that you think would be possible?
Yeah, I think I can definitely sort of try and, I'm part of meetings all the time where there's more people involved, and I'm sure my line manager would be happy for me to sort of step in at times and sort of present the logistics side. So I'll have a conversation with them and see if I can do that, and like you say, hopefully build some confidence by doing that. Yes,
that'd be amazing. So if we could speak to your line manager, get something in place for the next week, and then just let me know how it goes. Again, gather some feedback on it, and hopefully the steps we've put in place will be beneficial for you, and you can use them when you present to this larger group in the next week or so.
Yeah, sounds good.
Top man. Well, thank you again for your time, and I will catch up with you for the final session, and we'll review everything that we've been through and see how it went.
Perfect. Sounds good. Appreciate your time.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.